And just as we close off ADIPEC 2021, I managed to catch up with Darcy Spady. He is the managing partner of Carbon Connect International, but also a former SPE president. So it's great to get him just before he heads off back to Canada. Talk to me a little bit about, and particularly the work you're doing right now, in terms of, carbon emissions. And also, I think in light of COP26, we heard a lot about methane. We heard a lot about methane in here. What can you do in terms of, and what does this mean for your business? In fact, when you go after capturing methane, I guess.
It's been a very busy week. Everybody's talking about emissions, GHGs, greenhouse gas emissions, of which methane is the big culprit. And we in the industry emit lots of methane, and we know where almost all of it's emitted from. So it's easy to fix. It's a great win for the world. And in Canada, we administer a couple of programs for the government of Alberta. We can quantify tons that we save from getting into the atmosphere. We can quantify those tons. We can give it to our government, say, report this to your COP people, because we can really measure it. But the rest of the world has to catch up. Canada's in the lead. We quantify, we don't estimate, and we're making a huge difference. So this is really exciting because we as an industry, oil and gas, we can really do something. We can measure, we can mitigate, we can reduce all that stuff. It's low-hanging fruit.
Why has this not been done before? I mean, there's great excitement about the fact that now it's almost like there's a mandate to do it. But you just think, this.
Well, for years we installed things in our equipment, in our plants, that when it was finished its use, it vented to atmosphere. So we built all this stuff, but people weren't worried about methane 20, 30 years ago. So it hasn't been done because it hasn't had to be done. Now with all the environmental pressure, we realize that methane is 25 times worse than CO2 as a greenhouse gas. Suddenly, this is a problem, but more than that, it's an easy win. So suddenly, it makes sense for governments to put carbon prices on things. It makes sense for industry to be efficient. We don't lose that gas into the atmosphere. We lose it into the sales meter. So it hasn't been done because it hasn't been forced in our face. It's forced in our face. The public wants better, and we have an easy solution. Let's get after it. Let's measure it. Let's mitigate it.
And that's great to hear, because clearly by this time next year, something will be done. Talk to me a little bit about, the conversations that you were listening to here in terms of the energy transition, and indeed how, I suppose, the narrative has shifted completely here at ADIPEC and in the industry in general.
Yeah, the energy transition. Everybody wants to talk about it, but everybody wants to heat their house. Everybody wants to drive a car. Everybody wants to do all the things, make steel, make concrete. So the energy transition has got to be pragmatic. So when we're talking about it as energy professionals, we have to have solutions. And I'm very happy to say that in Canada, we are measuring the things we're doing wrong, and we're running full speed for the energy transition by doing the right thing, looking at blue hydrogen, looking at carbon intensity, looking at all these things, measuring them, dealing with them, doing all the right stuff.
Now, when we look at ADIPEC 2021, it's great you're here. It's always a delight to catch up with you here. How different has it been, or how engaging has it been for you this year? And of course, we missed it last year. We really missed it. So talk to me about your experience for 2021.
It's been so busy. I normally don't have bags under my eyes. It's day 4. I'm exhausted. It has been 4 nonstop days of dialogue, of thinking, of meeting, of doing, and even some eating. So I am exhausted. It's been an incredible week.